All right. Yeah, I'm ready.
This NBA playoffs betting edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by MyBookie.ag. The UFC is back, international soccer is back, golf's back, and the NBA is on its way. Use the promo code SGP for up to $1,000 in bonus bets. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGP to play, win, and get paid. We're also brought to you by our SGPN college football tournament. We're simulating a real college football playoff that you can bet on every Saturday and Sunday night in June. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFT for all the details. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFT. We're also brought to you by Bespoke Post. Each month you'll get a box of awesome filled with $70 worth of gear for only $45. Skip any month you want and cancel anytime. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code SGP at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code SGP for 20% off your first box. We're also brought to you by Ace Per Head. Ace is the leader in pay per head providers, and they make it super easy to start your own sportsbook. Plus, Ace is offering up to 6 weeks free over at aceperhead.com/SGP. That's aceperhead.com/SGP. Finally, we're brought to you by Cushy Dreams. Cushy Dreams is a new company with a full line of premium smokable CBD, now shipping legally to all 50 states. And if you use the promo code SGP, you get 15% off. That's KUSHYDreams.com. Promo code SGP. Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking that money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Holy shit, Sean. We're not talking about video games.
Nope.
We're not talking about people who we're going to talk to, I guess, an interview.
That's what they call them. Yes. We're not talking to Super Bowl champ.
We have
Jim
a stranger
McMahon
in the studio. I'm not sure I recognize. It's not Colby.
Joining us in studio, editor of the Sports Gambling Podcast and host of the NBA Odds Pod on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, Ryan, Real fat or Big Baby McKee. Well, I keep forgetting it. I gotta write it down.
Ryan, rich fat baby McKee.
It's better when he says it. It's better when he says it.
There we go.
Let me try again. Wow, Colby, you got a shave? Haircut?
No, that is Ryan, Rich Baby McKee.
Rich fat baby McKee.
Rich fat baby McKee.
I'm just happy.
I knew there was a third thing.
I'm just happy to have someone sitting next to me that isn't going to smack me on the back in 15 minutes.
I will not touch you. That is a promise I will give to you.
I like it. Setting boundaries here
But
early and often.
Sports are back.
Sports are back. And this isn't some sort of like, oh, hey, sports are back. Here's Peyton Manning golfing. This is sports are back. This is the hardwood. And we're getting ahead of the game, but why not? The odds are over. They're up. They're over at mybookie.ag. Use that promo code SGP. All the odds. Oh, I got a whole list here. I got leans on what hotel they're going to be staying at, apropos of nothing, but it's plus 300. So, you know, I'm all over it. I mean, they already have playoff prop bets up, player totals, win totals for the remaining 8 games, playoff odds, NBA special bets, the championship prices, all of it's over at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code SGP to play, win, and get paid. So
can I ask a serious question?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I was looking at the fine work that I put into the NBA odds fraud contest spreadsheet.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Do we rehydrate it and still grade it, even though we're having a shortened season?
Yeah. I feel like we have to go.
We have to.
Yeah.
Right?
It has to go into
Let's
it.
do it. Yes.
It's 8. Yeah. There's 8 more games.
What was the? I was hoping everyone would have forgotten about that so we could keep the $500. Nice work, Kramer.
Yeah.
What?
I think most people did forget about it, but
What?
not now.
Well, now we know who's the man of the people. All right.
I technically forgot about it.
Sean keeping the green. What were the exact rules? I'm blanking on it. It was
which teams would
loser pool.
Yeah, it was a loser pool. Who would win the fewest games?
yes.
And so
So I guess it still works, right?
It does kind of still work, but it does work. But the worst teams aren't playing anymore.
Well, see that. I mean, that shows that, and that's kind of makes sense because I think the contest still works because if you got to this final 22,
right,
that means you're doing well, and so you're now punished by racking up potentially more wins in this mini 8-game season. before the playoffs actually happen.
Yeah. So I think you're right. It still works. I mean, it's been a real shit show over at the sports gambling podcast basketball fantasy league that I run. We're trying to figure out how to end the season, and the guys who are kind of in first place already, they want to just end it because get that, but then not all the players are playing, so it's difficult.
That's tough.
That is
all over the place.
That is a nightmare for season long fantasy. We focus on the big victims of COVID-19, but season long NBA fantasy, how that's going to get decided. One of the overlooked aspects here.
I mean, if you're in a keeper baseball league, are you getting that year of eligibility back?
What's
in the
gonna
minors?
happen?
I don't know what's going to happen. No, I only brought this up because there's 5 tabs in this spreadsheet that I built to track this fucking thing. So we're going to see it to completion.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's if people are just tuning in, or maybe you're listening to this podcast in July, mid-July, right before they kick things off. This thing's going to be evergreen for a while here. What McKee, walk people through the process. What is basically the remaining chunk of the season, the play-in thing? Just walk people through what's going to happen now.
All right. So there's going to be 22 teams coming back on, as things stand right now, July 31st, playing in the ESPN Sports Center in Disneyland or Disney World.
I'm sorry. Did you say Orlando?
The ESPN zone.
ESPN zone in Orlando. And it's 22 teams. It's the 16 teams that are already in the playoffs plus 8 additional. And the way they came to that was if you're within 6 games of the 8th seed, you got to come back. So that is only Washington in the East, and then but I'm blanking. I know it's the Suns, Portland.
It's very lopsided, right? It's only one.
Sacramento.
Yeah, there's 13 in the West that are coming back.
Well, I just had them. I went to a different page.
And
There's so many
then,
props.
Oh wait, I have it. It's
Kings,
Portland,
Suns, Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the full list here. We can go through them.
Yeah, Suns, Spurs, Kings, Pelicans, Blazers. Those are the wild card, the teams that aren't in the top 8. In the top 8 for the West, Grizzlies at 8, then Mavericks, Rockets, Thunder, Jazz, Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, and then the East, the top 8 seeds from 8 going back to 1, Magic, Nets, 76ers, Pacers, Heat, Celtics, Raptors, Bucks.
So what about this isn't 100%?
We mean what? It's not 100%.
It's 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I don't think they've
That
released the 8 games that they play for the seeding.
Okay. So what they're saying they're doing right now, they haven't totally locked it in, but they right now, as it stands, is the teams are going to continue playing the schedule that they had left, but say they have a game coming up against the Atlanta Hawks, they just skip that one until the next game they have that was on the schedule is against a team that's there.
Okay. So you could probably figure out what the actual schedule is, but that sounds like a shitload of work. Maybe Zach Bronner or John Boy Jackson, one of the other people at SGPN could figure that out for us. That would be awesome. Cause I think that will help in breaking down some of these bets.
It will help, but
or does it really matter?
I mean,
also when I heard 22 teams, I assumed they were throwing conferences out the window. They are keeping the conferences, and what they're doing is that one aspect we haven't talked about, the play-in thing. So basically, if the 9 seed is within 4 games of the 8th seed, then they have a little. Was it just a 2-3 game series?
It's they're calling it a play-in tournament, but it can really just be one game because it's the 8th versus the 9th seed. If the 8th seed wins the first game, they win.
It's over.
It's over. But if the 9th seed is able to win 2 games in a row, then they would jump into the 8th seed.
All right. I like mixing it up a little bit. I would have just done away, or I don't know, just figured out to make it a giant bracket with the 22 teams and possibly buys. But I guess they want to give the other teams some games for seeding and to get into shape. I guess that was the angle.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are saying, why don't they just bring back the 16 teams? But I think they still wanted to get a little bit of, money is part of the reason they wanted more games to play. But I think they wanted to get everybody back in shape, 8 games before they jump right into the playoffs. Plus give those teams that were still close enough to Memphis technically Washington is still close enough to that 8th seed, give them a legit chance to try to get there.
You pointed this out in the Slack, and of course you can join our Slack, slack.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. That a little loophole here when the whole COVID thing happened, the NBA stopped drug testing players.
Oh yeah,
and they've decided they're not going to restart that. So it's just game on.
It's been totally lawlessness for the NBA right now as far as weed smoking goes.
Woo! It's smoking my weed.
I mean, talk about recovery. I mean, what better way to encourage faster recovery, safer recovery than with some good old CBD?
You're sounding like our good buddy Jim McMahon. It was just on the podcast. A huge spokesman for marijuana.
He sounds a lot like me, I think is what you tried to say there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. Make sure to check out that pod and the Don Beebe podcast. Let's get to it. There's a number of different style of bets here over at my bookie. Let's go around remaining regular season win total. So there's 8 games left. Let's throw out some best bets as far as over under for the 8 games remaining.
Yeah. And can we just real quick just all agree this is extreme degen behavior, right?
This is extreme degen.
Like this is throwing.
Well, wait, you mean a 8 game win total is a degenerate move? Of course. You want to have some action. And Kramer,
I'm gonna go play some carnival games too after this.
We were talking about this, like, how popular will this 8 game thing be before the playoffs hit? I think it's going to be huge because it's still going to be early August. So NFL hasn't started yet. College hasn't started yet. And I think they're going to be running the games back to back to back because they're all playing in one stadium. So you're going to have, it's not going to be quite the same as March Madness where you have like 8 games in one venue, but it could be kind of close.
But the fact that we didn't have March Madness is as close as we got, besides Degen Madness, of course, which was brilliant. But this is for as far as real games go, this is going to be as close as we get.
I think people are going to get jacked up for this. All right.
And it was kind of interesting that they are doing away with home court advantage. You know, that's something to keep in mind here. But I did read that one proposal that they're thinking to try to give some element of home court advantage is they're going to actually they're going to fly the different courts out from their home arenas and then reset it up in. I guess they have the ability to do this in Disney World, and then they'll play on their floor.
Yeah,
that kind of makes. I mean, I think the eye lines are another important thing about being at home, but I do think that different courts have different feels. So but
also I don't know if transporting the court and you're setting on top of the concrete, like it might not. It might. It's
not going to scare the refs into making calls like a crowd will.
I don't know. I mean, you're a big pickup star, Sean.
Yes, I am.
Does it really make a difference what court you're playing on?
Oh, for me it does, because if they've swept recently, that's always good because I need a lot of grip. I was spotting up with a mid-range jumper.
I thought you were going the angle that you're hoping the floor is extra dusty because it levels the playing field.
That does it probably does work into my favor, but my allergies kind of counteract any sort of advantages.
So it's not the cutting; it's your allergies.
It's mostly the allergies.
Dude, you're moving too quick. You're kicking up all that dust, bro.
They had a number of just horrible ideas. The floor being one of them. The other one was they would allow the home team to get first dibs on the hotel, like decide what hotel they're staying at. Another one was they would allow one player to have 7 fouls, which is just an insane. It just doesn't seem like it even really helps you that much because they're still like getting to the line or whatever.
Yeah. I have a feeling that they're going to do away with all of those and then
they're just going to say fuck it up.
It's weird enough as it is for these players. I think it's going, and that was one thing we talked about at NBA Odds Pod with Zach Bruno and last week when they first announced this shouldn't be an asterisk season. This is a really going to be a difficult tournament for people to win and go through with everything going on and having to be like cut off from their family for the first few weeks and everything. So
and the side pieces and deciding which side pieces you let into the quarantine.
Wow,
that is probably the biggest issue for a lot of these NBA guys is deciding who do you bring to Orlando. There's got to be like some side piece sweepstakes,
and not just these guys, but also the teams. Goes a lot of thought into the 35 people they're allowed to bring. Do they bring certain trainers? Do they bring
each guy's allowed to bring 35?
No. Each team is allowed to bring 35. Yeah. So like with staff members and stuff. So which trainers do they bring? Do they bring their security guys? Like stuff like that.
You know, I do that, and they're NBA players. Like, they're all going to be out of shape. I know they have time to get back in shape. They're still going to be out of shape.
Smoking that weed.
This
It's smoking my weed.
this is going to be.
I love that guy.
This is going to be I mean, to your point about this being must-watch TV, that's mainly just because it's sports. I mean, we see the handles that these UFC cards are doing.
Yeah,
it's not like the UFC has just gotten popular again. Like, Tito Ortiz isn't back. It's just that there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still trying to hook up with Jenna Jameson.
Oh, what a move!
All right, let's give out two of our favorite remaining regular season win totals. I'll start things. Or no, Kramer, why don't you go first? What's one of your two best bets?
I mean, I just think that I just get the sense that the Greek Freak is going to be in shape. Like, if there's one guy I can bet on, gun to my head, he's going to come in and be in shape, and they're going to plow.
In his name.
And they're going to just plow through this. It's the Bucks. I actually just went to go because I no matter what the total was for the Bucks, I was going to take the over. I think the Bucks go over because the Greek, like, for some reason, I just have a feeling like everyone else is playing video games and just like getting fat and smoking weed, and he's just working out.
Okay,
like,
so I was going to go the opposite way on this because
I like it.
I like where Ryan's head's at.
It's plus 100 to go under 6 games.
True.
So they have because home court advantage is gone now. They have no real reason. They're 6 games ahead of the Raptors right now in the standings.
6.5. Yeah.
6.5. Again, ahead of the Raptors, and it doesn't really matter if they end. Even if the Raptors were to pass them, which I don't see happening, but it doesn't really matter if they play the Magic or the Nets or the Wizards. If the Wizards somehow, those teams are all pretty much the same bad, and the Bucks are gonna roll over them. It's better to rest their best players.
Yeah.
Rest. They've been resting all summer, baby.
But why? I'm saying like let their kind of their bench get some run. Like, I'm not saying they're completely going to.
But they could easily go 5-3.
Yeah, they don't need
4-4.
to win.
But here's my take on this. I think any conventional wisdom about teams needing to win, teams not needing to win, all of these teams have no chemistry at this point. The season's restarting. I think we've been off long enough where we can safely say this is a restart. And for that reason, like, you'll see what my picks are, but I'm cherry picking teams that I know to be good teams because I think they're going to come out, they're going to get the cobwebs off, and they're going to plow through this 8-game sled. So just a theory of mine.
Hey, that
the
could
Kramer
be true.
gang can stand up and follow me. The Fade Kramer gang can stand up and fade me.
I'm kind of leaning in the Fade Kramer gang, similar to some of the logic. I like this team once they get to the playoffs. However,
Absolutely.
in the 8 games remaining, I'm going under 5.5 for the Raptors, and I'm getting plus 110. They only need to lose 3 games. Again, it's a similar type situation. They have a 3-game lead on the Celtics. They're not going to catch number 1. They're almost locked at number 2. Nick Nurse, a real tactician when it comes to load management. I mean, you saw what he did. You saw what he did with Kawhi. He knows this team. He knows who to play, when to play him, when to rest
That's
him.
marriage
when to
material, Sean.
I under 5.5 for them at plus 110. I love it. So give me the Raptors under 5.5. Kramer, what's your second one?
Well, I'm going chalky again, and this is the Lakers. I'm doing the same thing. I think I think the same thing. I think LeBron, although goddamn, like. And now is the time to come out and be bald, bro. Like, it's okay. We've
come back with a head shave.
We're all at our worst right now. Like, just lean in. You can do it. Again, I'm juicing this one up. Like, honestly, the way
I hope it goes the other way and he's just been growing it out, and it's just real patchy and grown out.
If he had like just let it lean
I feel
into
his pain, man. Like, just gray hair start flying out of your body when you stop cutting your hair. It's just amazing. You're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Just lean into the male pattern baldness. If he came out with like a David Letterman style haircut up top,
absolutely.
it would be in vogue.
Look, Anthony Davis rocks a unibrow.
Yeah.
Objectively,
lean into it.
That's way worse than male pattern baldness. You're LeBron James. You're kind of slowly growing into that old man Kyrie character.
Yeah, he really is.
Slowly but steadily, or the
Embrace
character.
the male pattern radness.
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm laying the juice. If you can parlay, I saw, I don't know if it was my book. Is my bookie allowing parlays on this one? Because I would go over 5.5 parlayed with the Greek Freak, because I do think, I specifically think LeBron is definitely going to want to get ready in this 8 game. I really don't think their teams are going to coast.
I will
him.
say that LeBron was putting a lot. I mean, he was playing a lot more minutes than even the Greek Freak was, and despite him being 10 years older.
And as far as like who has the best equipment, the best trainer, the best nutrition, all that shit at home, that probably is still keeping up with that stuff at home, I would put LeBron in that category.
Not to mention LeBron, you have to also factor in that his kid is at the age where his kid is probably starting to think he can kick his dad's ass.
Yeah.
So LeBron is not like, he's had to make sure he stays alpha at home, which means he's hitting the gym, he's staying in shape, he's focused.
I mean, he seems like he's got a good home life too.
Also, I'm running 6 miles a day just out of like boredom. Like, what do you think these NBA guys? Some should definitely. I think here's how.
What's your bench max up to, Sean? While we're talking about it,
the government won't allow me to lift weights. It's too dangerous. I got the perfect push up. It's a workaround. My angle on this is the veterans that like are doing enough, or the veterans that realize they have to stay in shape. Those are the guys I think that are going to come out and have really good seasons. There's veterans like James Harden. We'll probably get to him later, who I don't think are staying in shape. And I think the young guys are taking their just being always in good shape for granted. I think those guys are going to be in trouble.
I'm real worried about Joel Embiid for that.
Yes,
same reason.
exactly.
I actually think you're wrong about James Harden. James Harden, I think he's one of these quiet like Peloton dudes. No, I'm not even kidding you. I have a feeling James Harden is not going to be out of shape.
Well, strip clubs have been closed. So.
That's what I was gonna say. I think, or does he get his power from strip clubs? Don't know for
McKee,
sure.
what's your second win total here?
Okay, so I actually like the over 5.5 at +120 for the Celtics.
Oh,
because they actually have something to lose in or gain in the standings. So they're 3 games behind the Raptors right now. And if they're able to overtake the Raptors, who they might be doing load management, so they could get there, they can instead get in that second seed where they'd have to play like Magic or the Nets versus the 76ers, which is a vast difference
That's a huge swing. You're right.
So I can definitely see Brad Stevens, great coach, getting his guys up, young team, but
this is like a March Madness tournament. So former college coaches might have an advantage. That's a good angle.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really like that's my lock right there. Celtics over 5.5 +120.
I mean, Brad. I mean, Stevens. He'll have him up for this. This is the perfect format for him.
And you could probably throw the Jazz in here as well, but I'm just playing the high elevation angle. Nuggets over 5 -130. There's all these news stories about Jokic being ripped as shit and in really good shape, and they've been living at elevation doing their workouts. That's got to give you an edge, even if it's just those first couple games. Instead of winning 4, they win 6. Instead of 5, they win 7. I think
you don't
over
think
5
it hurts that they're taking away from that home advantage of the elevation that they're so used to having.
That's certainly one way to look at it. I'm just looking at
it. Are you
as,
kidding me? Do you know how much oxygen they're going to be able to pump through their body at measly sea level?
They've been staying at and they're not going back and forth. They're not traveling. They've been at Mile High for what, 3-4 months straight. It's the same reason we always take the Broncos the first 2 games of the regular NFL season. I think it applies to the Nuggets here, especially in this situation.
And I think that advantage probably wears out by the time the playoffs start. Right?
Yeah. But for this 8-game thing, over 5, and their team's been gelling.
Did you take Utah or Denver?
I took Denver, but you could probably make a similar case for Utah. I didn't look at their number, but
although Utah with the whole Rudy Gobert thing, there's been a lot of talk about how sowed a lot of discord between that team because he gave it to Donovan Mitchell as well. And the 2 stars.
There is a God bless my bookie. MyBookie.ag promo code SGP. They did throw out a prop bet. Will he test positive for coronavirus?
Wait, I saw that. Which
it's a little morose. But also like
I think is impossible, kind of.
Well, and we don't know. But again, it's interesting that the MyBookie scientists are putting it out there.
It's a good example to show children on what happens when you act like an asshole.
Yeah.
Like that. Like if he doesn't do all that asshole stuff, Donovan Mitchell's not that mad at him.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. It's one thing if you just like gave it to him and be like, oh yeah, dude, I didn't know.
He's literally like, this thing's bullshit. Like,
yeah. And touching all his teammates. He made a point of like hugging on his teammates. And
hey, I've had my moments where I've said coronavirus is bullshit, but I haven't gone out and like touched people in the face and like rubbed.
Yeah. Well, you kept that at home.
Yeah,
you just touched your wife.
Yeah. I mean, I did rub these mics all over the place earlier.
Great.
Don't worry about it. Oh,
We got some more playoff odds. Will they? Won't they make the playoffs? Before we get to that, shout out to Bespoke Post. I don't know about you guys, but locked up at home. One of the few things that gets exciting is when the mail comes. Hey, if we got a package, we got something in the mail. And how much better would it be if it was actually something you want, not a bunch of bullshit? How about a box of awesome? That's right. All you got to do, go to boxofawesome.com. You fill out a little quiz. They got you covered. They got barware, cooking tools, outdoor gear. I just recently went for Father's Day. I got my dad a mini keg, portable mini keg, very affordable. I know he's gonna love it. It's like a growler that you just fill up, but it has has the carbonated pull tab. He's gonna love it. And the cool thing about boxofawesome.com and their boxes, each month they send you an email. They're like, hey, here's in the box. You don't have to be Brad Pitt and go, what's in the box? They tell you what's in the box. You can either say yay or nay on that box or say, hey, I'm out. No more boxes. Very easy to use and cool shit. Each box only costs $45, but over $70 worth of gear inside. You're already up ahead with that pricing. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com. Enter the code SGP, boxofawesome.com, code SGP for 20% off your first box.
it's weird, Sean. My box came with a duffel bag, not a head. I don't know.
What's up?
Mine came with a duffel bag, not a head. Sorry.
Good 7 callback.
I was
There you go.
playing with you.
Okay. It took me a little bit to do the math. I did it, and now I'm enjoying that reference. The duffel bag is sweet. The only thing that was disappointing was I had it scheduled to come right before we were going to fly out to March Madness, and I had like this, getting on the jet suite, like private plane with my sweet, bespoke
I
post
forgot
duffel
about
bag,
fucking private jet,
and just have like a bunch of cash in there ready to destroy. And I've just moved that dream to the first week of NFL. So that's where it's going to make its debut. Kramer, let's talk playoff
Jesus
odds
Christ.
in particular. Will they, won't they? Let's start off with McKee. What are the in these playoff? Will they, won't they? Which ones do you find interesting?
All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the two I picked right here, and one of these is obviously going to lose, but I like both the Grizzlies at plus 140, but then even more the Blazers at plus 550. So I do think that I'm putting some money on the Grizzlies because at plus 140, they already have a great advantage coming into this. If they are just able to stay in the 8th seed, which I believe they're 3 or 4 games.
3.5 right now.
I was going to ask this. Why are their odds so delicious?
Because
What am I missing?
Well, because there's 8 games and these teams are like 5 or 6 games back. It's
Right.
Some of them are almost impossible.
No, but the Grizzlies.
Oh, the
They're
Grizzlies
plus odds.
Yeah,
right?
they're like you said, plus 140, and they have a 3.5 advantage lead over the Trailblazers. Also, side note, NBA said they will determine it via winning percentage.
yeah,
So which
I
is
was gonna
something
mention that too.
which is something to keep an eye out because
when they cut it off, some teams already played like 2 more games than the other teams at that point in the season. So it's just winning percentage. It's not how many games above 500 you are or whatever.
yeah.
So
And Dallas also doesn't have their. They are the 7th seed, but they're not officially locked. I mean, they're up a decent number of games on like 10.5 games on the Blazers. So,
But
more
if you
or
look
less
at
locked.
Memphis, right, they have a 3-win lead over Portland, 4-loss lead, and a 4-win lead over the Pelicans, 3-loss.
Yeah.
Same with the Kings. So I guess it would be San Antonio. Yeah, I don't know.
if you look at and it's weird, if you look at the winning percentage for Trailblazers, because they've played like 1 more game over the Pelicans and the Kings, they've got like a .001 advantage. So if they go 4-4 and the other teams go 4-4, they actually have an advantage over the Pelicans
And wait, sorry, who had the advantage if they both go 4-4?
Portland.
Okay, that's a good nugget. And one more nugget, of course, and not to overlook in these will they, won't they? Right now, if the game ended, or now there's 3 teams tied for 9, they're all within 4 games of the 8th seed. Then they would. Do they have a tiebreaker for that yet?
Well, well, I mean, that would be right. Like I said, like it's winning percentage. So like,
but then there would still be an 8 and 9 play each other, but it would be the top number 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're still doing kind of the same, right? They're still doing the tiebreakers the way they would. Like
that's why Memphis is plus 140 because the play-in does not count as the playoffs.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, yeah. So if the
because
teams,
otherwise you look at it and you're like, if Memphis wins, I think 3 games,
they would
4
clinch
games,
it.
they can't be caught, but they can be caught
because
from
they're
that
within
perspective.
play-in game.
So really, they need to win like 6 or something.
Yeah, but they still. I mean,
or just win that one playing.
or in the playing game, they just win the first game and they're in.
Okay, so I like your strategy. I'm doing a similar strategy. I'm not taking Memphis. I am taking 2 teams in the West to make it. One, the San Antonio Spurs. Now, granted, they are 4 games back from the Grizzlies, and we just mentioned Kings, Pelicans, Blazers, all 3.5 games back. This just feels like a Popovich time to shine, a rally the troops. They have that crazy streak of years making the playoffs. This, to me, we always identify these spots. This could be the Spurs Super Bowl, just getting into the playoffs, just getting together, making a run and doing, kind of winning one for Pop. So, and the odds are so high, plus 650. Love it. And
There
then
is a rumor saying that coaches over 60 will not be allowed to be on the bench.
what?
Yeah.
That's fucking
That's one thing they're talking
ageist. Nah,
about. Just because of the higher, I don't think that's going to fly.
nah,
But
come
Pop
on.
might not be on the bench.
That is a good nugget to know. The other one, Pelicans make the playoffs plus 550. NBA, they would love to see this guy get to the playoffs. So whatever they have to do to see young Zion make it in, you're telling me the NBA isn't going to do a little finagling to get a Zion, LeBron round 1 Western
David
Conference?
Stern is no longer the commissioner.
But come on, just the NBA of all the leagues, I think it's mostly because fouls are the biggest judgment calls in sports, in basketball. So it's leaves your brain can kind of get away with you or get away from you here. And the Pelicans are playing good. And Zion, they allowed Zion, I think because he had an injury or something, they allowed him to train at the facility the entire time of this shutdown. So he's a guy I think that will be in shape and maybe shed a little bit of that baby
Just
fat.
so we're clear, have we seen him?
What do you mean?
I've not seen photos of him.
Have we seen photos? Because he takes a week vacation, he puts on 40 pounds.
Yeah, but he plays fat and it's still good.
I like McKee's game theory the best. I mean, I do. When I looked at this, I circled Memphis because it didn't make sense. Now that I've explained it to myself with the play-in thing, that makes more sense. Portland, which team that isn't in now that could be in has a better collection of dudes that you believe could get it done.
I was gonna say like Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are great, and they will have Yusuf Nurkic back. That's a big thing that they didn't have all season. That a big player they're getting back. They were so good last season with him, and so they could. And even if he plays 15 minutes a game, they still have Hassan Whiteside as well. So I really like them coming into this 8 games.
Portland is a good. Damn, that is good.
But then, other than that, there's not much to throw out. I mean, Washington is there, I guess, as like a circus sidecar, but like Orlando's in. It's minus 1200. There's no value in. I guess I would more advise don't get suckered into a Wizards plus 650 bet.
Yeah,
I don't think that's wise. I mean, I'd probably
also don't get into like that long shot Suns. Even as a Suns fan, I'm glad to see them come back, but they've been. I can't remember which expert did this, but they've been running like 500 different simulations, and of the 500, Suns got in once. They were able to force a play in one time. So definitely don't throw away your money on those long odds.
I feel like if you want to take a fun bet, I think McKee threw it out there, and it's the Blazers.
Yeah,
I think the Blazers
absolutely at plus 550. I think that's great odds
because you have the key things, right? Your key players are the ball handlers, so that the other players don't necessarily have to show up every night.
Yeah.
And both of those guys are capable of carrying that team and have shown they can carry their team in big moments. So, I mean, at 550, that's a fun bet.
They've had playoff success already. So absolutely.
And also Dame, he seemed kind of fired up, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. So I could see that making a run. All right. Can talk playoff player props. That's right. They already got the player props up over at mybookie.ag. But if you're thinking about starting your own sports book, all you got to do is head to Ace Per Head. That's right. Become your own bookie. All inclusive professional betting site. All the lines updated to the second. Wagers graded immediately. Top notch customer support going 24/7. Some of the sharpest lines in the industry. Plus, Ace offers live betting and an amazing mobile experience. Get started today. Ace is offering up to 6 weeks free if you use our link aceperhead.com/SGP. aceperhead.com/SGP. McKee, what was your mindset here as far as these player props?
So I was looking through these. So these are player props just for the playoffs, not including the 8 games.
Correct.
Which good to note. So I went through these, and these just came out within the last few days. So if you're listening to this in mid-July, it could change grossly. But
say it ain't so.
The first one that really stuck out to me, and I'm not sure why that they put it at this number. So Bam Adebayo, they have his average rebounds per game set at 5.
Seems low.
It seems very low because he averaged 10.5 rebounds per game.
What the hell?
So now, and you can see people are jumping all over it because it's at -150 right now. But still, I think that is a given lock that he rebounds over 5 a game.
So when this happens, I sit down and I say, well, how does it not happen? How does this not happen?
He gets injured.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. Because even his rookie season, he averaged over 5.5 rebounds per game.
Well, but even if he gets injured, now this is an average, and they only need to play 4 games to hit the average. If you read the rules over on mybookie.ag, so as long as he plays 4 games and then he gets hurt, you're fine.
Yeah.
And I think if it's under 4 games, it's actually no action. So I don't even think you really have to worry about injury unless it's like something he's playing through and it's impacted his game. But
yeah, I just don't see how he doesn't hit 5 rebounds a game. So that's a lock right there.
For me, my first one, I'm going to give Jokic over 10.5 rebounds. Again, kind of going back to my elevation theory. Zach Bronner shared that article about him being really in shape. And I mean, 3 out of the last 4 games, he had like over a dozen rebounds. He seems like a guy that's gonna be trying. Although I am worried about the foreign Disneyland aspect. I feel like foreigners when they're
gonna be excited.
Oh, they get distracted. They've never been. They want to go check out. They want to go see what it's all about. I feel like foreigners.
The park is supposed to be back open by that point too,
so
he might hear the laughter of the children and get distracted.
The foreigners are drawn to Disney World.
Isn't that more of a Joel Embiid problem?
I can also see him, just tearing through some churros, hanging out and on the teacups or whatever. So I'm a little worried about, but over 10.5 rebounds. That's my first one, Kramer.
And I'm going right to Embiid, and I couldn't decide. So I figured I'd ask the better NBA Ryan, if you're going to attack an under for Joel Embiid, because he's going to be just eating up food everywhere. Cause it's Orlando. It's this artificial city.
Too many churros.
Is it the 12 rebounds, the effort stat, or is it the 23.5 points? Because my instinct said go after the rebound prop.
Points could go either way. At least that was my thing.
Yeah,
because
points are always. I feel like points are harder to predict than the others. So I would say if you're going to try to fade Joel Embiid, I would go effort.
Lazy angle
with
then it's
rebounds.
under 12 rebounds. I mean, he's got to average, I guess, over 12.1 would defeat me. There's a couple guys who I'm certain this is not going to be a good, healthy experience for them. And Joel Embiid living in a hotel at an amusement park.
I mean, for the guy who loves Shirley
candy is in vending machines there.
His favorite drink is the Shirley Temple, and he's going to Orlando and Disney World. I mean, come on.
I mean, have we seen pictures?
I'm worried about his blood sugar.
Yeah. Speaking of it, we were talking Zion photos. Have we seen pictures of Joel Embiid yet? I mean, he might be 500 pounds.
It's troubling because I mean, him and Simmons, they just need to have someone. They need a tougher coach. That's my biggest issue with them. McKee, what's your second player prop here?
I really like Donovan Mitchell under 4.5 assists per game, and that's at -120. He's never averaged more than about 4 assists per game. And last playoffs, he averaged 3.2 assists per game, and before that, 4.2. So under 4.5 assists per game, Donovan Mitchell, and he has Mike Conley there now, so he doesn't have to assist. He doesn't have to handle the ball as much.
Makes sense, Kramer.
I'm going to another under, and that's Kawhi Leonard. Never averaged five assists ever. I just went over to Basketball Reference to verify this. He's averaging 5 assists this year on this Clippers team. Never come near that in the playoffs. I'm taking under 5 assists per game.
I like that.
Yeah, and especially once it goes playoff time, he's not afraid to just be like, okay, guys, it's just going to be me here for the fourth quarter.
Well, and I think it's one of those bets that the average Joe public might see and say, what? He's going to have the ball in his hands so much. Yeah, I'm going on. And just in general, these bets right now, like if you're taking bets now, you're buying unders, right? You're waiting on overs. You're buying, except for that crazy ass. They mislabeled
that might have been a misprice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Harden under 6.5 rebounds. I just don't see him. And you guys made a case. Maybe he's in shape because he's not going to the strip club every night. But Florida is just going to be pure trouble for this man. And Florida is way more opened up. And also, he's from Texas. They probably do have strip clubs open now in Texas. Florida, I'm sure it's game on. He'll be taking road trips up to Tampa just for the world-class facilities. The guy had his jersey retired by a strip club for spending $1 million there in an evening. This is a guy you're going to take under 6.5 when all the weird conditioning things, the schedule, he may have a good series. He may play well in the playoffs, but I just don't see him chasing down a lot of rebounds.
Yeah. I don't hate that. And I'm actually going to stick with the same team, and who I think will be in very good shape and will be wanting to really get his points because it's the playoffs. All eyes are on him. Is Russell Westbrook?
Yes.
I'm going to go over 26.5 points per game. I know I already said points are tough to predict.
Yeah,
but he was averaging 27.5 points when the season shut down. He really seemed to be coming into his own when they traded away all their centers and they decided to just go all small ball.
I forgot
all the
about
time.
that. The all small thing.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that he and Harden are going to be their main scorers. And all the other guys just stand in the corner and jack up threes. So definitely look at Westbrook over 26.5.
Playoff for us, man.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
You get that extra padding.
It's going to be a ball hog.
He's going to just take some of those coast to coast.
Kramer, what do you got? What's your final?
Didn't I give 2 out?
Yeah, we're doing 3.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. I'll do mine. My third and final NBA playoff prop. Give me Ben Simmons will not make a 3 in the playoff.
Oh, I like
minus 200. I mean, first off, how many games did they play? They played what? 65? 65 this season. In those 65 games, he only attempted 6.
Yeah.
And he made 2 of those. So that he'll make one. It'll be crazy if he even attempts. I'd be surprised if he even attempts more than 1. And he's 2 for 6. He's shooting 33%. So no minus 200. It's very well possible they don't make it past the first round. If they get to the third round, how many is he hitting? I just no minus 200 is just so easy. And he doesn't have his legs. Also, he doesn't like taking 3-pointers. He did it in like crazy situations. Maybe he takes one in those last 8 games, but not in the playoffs. Are you kidding me?
I'm with you because I feel like the more eyes that get on him, the more conservative he plays. So yeah, absolutely.
He only does it. I think all 6 attempts were at home, and everyone's like, "Yeah, the place is going nuts." And he's like, "All right, I'll do it. I'll try a 3-pointer."
Yeah,
but he's not going to do that in the real playoffs in Orlando in front of Goofy and the gang.
Yeah.
Kramer,
There's probably more efficient ways to play this, but I'll go Dame Lillard over 29.5 points.
Yeah, and I
mean, obviously they have to get there.
I would lean to unders overall, but I think your case for points is just lack of effort on the defensive side and teams being out of shape. Yada yada yada.
My theory is that
work both
Dame
ways.
Lillard's going to be ready to play. I think when you have that question of is this guy going to be ready to play?
Well,
Dame Lillard's going to be ready to play. I don't know.
It involves them getting into the playoffs. So if they get into the playoffs, it probably means he's playing pretty well.
I mean, honestly, like the next market we're going to look at, that's where I'm really pouring most of my money into.
All right, let's move over to NBA specials. This is just a crazy, just basically everything except the win the championship odds. There's some Zion ones in here. There's some the 8th seed in the West, which again, I think you can get better price on just will they, won't they make the playoffs versus taking them in the 8th seed. Who will, who's the 8th seed in the East? McKee, there's a ton of stuff kind of left over here.
I actually do. Who's the 8th seed? I like the 8th seed in the East for the Nets because it's a plus 300 odds, and they're only a half a game right now ahead of the Orlando Magic. Kyrie and KD have already come out and said they are definitely not playing. So I don't see why they couldn't easily. It doesn't make much sense to them. It doesn't matter to them if they're in the 7th or 8th seed. So why not take the better odds?
Oh, that's true.
So wait, sorry, is that for the Nets to be the 8th seed?
Yeah, to drop back.
Okay. Oh yeah, because they don't give a shit.
That's what I'm saying. They're only a half game ahead of the Magic, so why wouldn't the Magic potentially pass them? So plus 300 odds, I'll take it.
They have a number of where will the Lakers stay if they resume play, and lists all these Orlando hotel rooms. What I did was I did a little bit of research. And I Googled most expensive hotel in Orlando. No way the Lakers are cheaping out. They're top notch organization. They're not afraid to spend money. It's the Loews, Loews Sapphire Falls Resort plus 300. I looked it up. It's like $640 a night. So I think if they're going anywhere, that's what they're going. Some of the other options are like Walt Disney World Dolphin Resort, World Swan Resort, the Hyatt House. Maybe they go Ritz-Carlton.
Can I just share a funny anecdote with these bets?
There's also Margaritaville Resort is on the list.
Oh, wow.
So of course they have the Canadian team pegged the favorite Margaritaville because that's where a Canadian would go when they're visiting Disney World. Like why is it only the favorite for anyway?
This is really funny.
Meanwhile, they have no Canadians on their actual.
I actually have some inside info on this.
Oh, you do?
I'm pretty sure it's safe to bet Ritz-Carlton for the Clippers.
Ooh.
Why is that?
Let's just say your real money Kramer knows a person who knows a person, and apparently that's the preference for the Clippers when they're traveling. So
interesting.
Nice. Lock that in. And it's at plus 200.
It makes. I mean, it's the favorite. I don't know how they came up with these orders. It didn't. Again, I don't think I'm sharing any sort of confidential information here, but
yeah. So how the hell do they price these?
They seem like it seems to be like, well, like it's almost like they're making fun of the origin of the team. Like they have the Canadian team and the team from Texas staying at Margaritaville. They have the LA teams staying at the
high end,
the Boston and LA teams staying at the higher end places. Like Milwaukee is going to stay at the Loews Royal Pacific Resort. Is that like a movie theater? Is that
Well, I think that's the similar one to the one I had.
The Loews Sapphire. What was that?
Yeah. How do you pronounce that? Sapphire?
Is it not
SAPP?
I think it's just Sapphire.
There's just peas and sapphire.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I will say I'm very confident if you want some deeper dive in here, because I've stayed at the Walt Disney World Swan Resort for a conference. It's across it's kind of in a very isolated area with the Walt Disney World Dolphin Resort. So I definitely would look to maybe bet on those locations because of how isolated they are. It would make a lot of sense. They're smaller. I don't know. Why did we both gravitate towards breaking down the hotel situation?
Because my bookie has them up and fuck it. We're
#Legends only.
Closing things out. with the NBA championship bets as we see him now, taking some rolling the dice on
Way
some futures.
too early.
Before we do, shout out to Cushy Dreams Premium Smokable CBD. Kramer, I know you're a big smokable CBD guy.
Yes,
What do you like about Cushy Dreams?
Oh, it's smooth. It's silky smooth. You know what it's like? It's like that good creamer. I don't take creamer in my coffee anymore, but when I did, that silky creamer. No, I mean, it's awesome. It's flour, but it's CBD only. Although I'll be honest, Sean, I don't know if it's just a mind game, but there's times where I'm like, is this CBD only? Because they mailed it to me, so it's got to be. But man, it's working really well. Peace and love. Love the pre-rolls. Love the flour. It is weird when you're packing up. I actually got out the pipe, Sean. Classic style water pipe, and it was weird because I was I had the proper hand grinder.
You used to use tobacco in your tobacco water pipe, right?
Of course. And so I took it for a rip, and I've been dealing with some back problems, and dial up the piece. And it's creative. It helps too. Creative takes me some places I don't need to go sometimes.
I enjoy creative as well. I think you'll enjoy it as well. If you're a CBD fan, you'll enjoy cushydreams.com. Use the promo code SGP. Get 15% off. Smoke your CBD because you can.
I love that tagline.
Hell yeah. This is America. You can smoke your CBD. God damn it. All right, let's do it. Let's throw out like a long shot for the championship odds and kind of a chalky play. I think I was kind of on this team even before all this went down. And now that it's gone down, I still like them a lot. For my long shot bet, give me the Toronto Raptors at plus 1,700. This is just it's just a well-rounded team. Like they really seem to kind of answer the call of Kawhi thinking he was too good for Canada. Their coach, Nick Nurse, is good. They have like Spicy P, Lowry, like they've gelled. And I think teams that are truly teams will kind of excel in this new weird format. Also, they're used to playing in Canada. I don't know. Maybe that helps them. And kind of the main reason I like them is how good their win-loss record is on the road. 23-9 on the road. Milwaukee and the Lakers are a couple games better, but not by much. So I think they'll excel playing away from home. Give me the Raptors plus 1,700. Kramer, what do you like for long shot?
It's hard to want to go anywhere other than the favorites because again, I think the fact that these guys will be relatively well rested and it's going to come
pretty
down
much
to
everybody be healthy too.
True, but it's got to help the guys like Kawhi and LeBron and some of the favorite teams. But if you're asking me to go down that list and find a team that I'm going to throw a dart with, if a team's going to shock the world, they're going to shock the world. And who better to own that team than Mark Cuban? The Dallas Mavericks, Sean, 40-1. Listen, if I'm betting in the NBA right now, I'm taking one of the LA teams out of the West. But if you're asking me to have a little bit of equity on someone down a little bit further down the list, it's going to be those Dallas Mavericks. And at 40-1, Sean, I only need to put a quarter unit on there to have a nice return.
I like that too. The Mavericks actually have a really good road record. So,
and they also have the makeup of a team that could just like accidentally, like almost like they don't know any better.
Yeah. Too young to be scared. I like that angle of 40-1. McKee, what's your long shot dog?
So I'm going, I've got a much longer shot than I got bigger balls than you guys.
Oh,
did.
wow.
And
Onions.
I am going 90-1. OKC Thunder.
Ooh.
So kind of goes right back to what you were saying with the Raptors in that this seemed like a
They're
real
a 5
team.
seed. They're in the mix.
Yeah, they're a real team that gelled well during the season. They have a legit star with Chris Paul. He'll be rested. He kind of always his thing
Injury
was he would wear down at the end of the season and then he'd never have a good playoffs. He is going to come in fresh to the playoffs for the first time in a very long time. And they have a great, well-rounded team. Good coach, Billy Donovan. I like him. 90-1. Why not?
Well, and especially, wouldn't this be the year that Chris Paul wins a championship? Wouldn't this be the year something weird like this happens? The rest thing is a great point because Yeah, that's all his injuries have been like clearly just from playing too much.
Any concern about Billy Donovan having a relapse, returning to the scene of the crime where he had to cry and beg for his old job back after reneging at the Orlando Magic?
Well, certainly there's a lot of concerns.
Let me back to Florida, please.
Biggest being the Clippers and the Lakers in the same conference, but it's 90-1.
No, it does. And,
I'm
and
pissed at my 17-1 looks like bullshit.
I did look at Chris Paul in the player props market too, because again, if he's healthy, he's capable of putting up big time numbers, especially with his depressed assist total of like 7 or something like that. It's really low. So if you like him for sure, I like that.
He feels slighted by both the Clippers and the Rockets.
Yeah,
he's got a big chip on his little shoulders.
And the Lakers, right? Well, wasn't he? Wait, he was supposed to be traded to the Lakers, right?
Well, I don't know if but that was David Stern that shot that.
But maybe he's just mad at the Lakers too. I guess they were trying to trade for him.
Benito Stern.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
Yes.
But this is how you should really invest your money.
Okay.
As much as I do think the Bucks will plow through that 8-game pre-playoff schedule, I don't know if I agree that they should be that big of a favorite.
I agree with you.
I think this is I think we've hit the reset button in a way, and it doesn't really matter how good of a team. Like, cool, you'd built up that awesome win, but like, you're not going to get home court. It's not going to mean a goddamn thing. So should you really be 6 times better or 5 times better odds than the Boston Celtics, the Toronto Raptors? I was going to throw out the Raptors, Sean, but I'll pivot because I'm just fine throwing out a team like the Boston Celtics as well.
Oh God.
And honestly,
it's a baby fucking wheel, man.
What I would almost advise here is
tired of fire a drone strike your way for picking a Boston
why
team.
Wouldn't you just fill your portfolio with Boston, Toronto, and even throw in a Miami or a Philly in there?
Yeah, I mean, Toronto is.
It's a positive EV as long as someone takes down the Bucks. And in a season like this, in a shortened condensed playoff like this, I think it would be silly to play favorites, and you really want to look towards those variance plays, right? Which is the team that can accidentally fuck around and get this done. So
well, and coming back to my Raptors long shot pick, they're the 2 seed, right, in the East. So they're the odds-on favorite to be in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Sean, the fact that you're calling it a long shot pick, they're like
17-1.
They're the 5th favorite.
All right,
you don't get to call that a medium shot. I'll give you a medium shot.
But imagine it goes chalk, 1 and 2 in the East, 1 and 2 in the West, and you're sitting on a plus 1700.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a number of outs there.
Massive EV potential, Sean.
What's your chalkier play, McKee?
You know what? I mean, I understand what Kramer's talking through there, but I just don't see anybody in the East taking down the Lakers or the Clippers. And if I have to pick one of those teams, I'm definitely going with the Clippers.
Oh wow!
I love we talked about this last week on NBA OzPod. Zach and I both agree. Zach, our main NBA handicapper over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We just like those long wings. We think they're built for how the NBA is going. And they have a deeper bench than the Lakers. They have with Harrell and Lou Williams coming off the bench, they just have a stronger punch off the bench than anybody else in the league, I feel like. So yeah, give me Clippers all the way.
I hope Clippers win just to see them deal with the formality of actually planning a Clippers parade. Like, where would they go? Where would they walk?
They're doing it their way this year. I mean, I went to see the Clippers a couple times, including that opening game against the Lakers, and they were the better team then. I think they probably will be the better. If you gun to my head, I got to pick one of them. I'm going to back Paul George and
Kawhi. A lot of people were saying that the Lakers' home court advantage was going to be the thing that put them over the top, and we've taken that away.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because if they did play the Western Conference, it would essentially be 7 games in the Staples Center, which the Lakers own.
Like an inflatable Jack doll on the sideline for the Lakers, make them feel at home.
I'll go. You made a good case for the Clippers. I had Lakers, but you know what? Fuck the Lakers. I'm going Clippers. Give me the Clippers.
Sean,
I talked you out of it.
I was a Clipper. I forgot I was a Clipper fan. The Chris Kaman days briefly when the Sixers were horrible, and I wanted to root for a team locally that wasn't the Lakers. I'll stand by the Clippers.
Sean models his footwork after the great Chris Kaman. Sean, remember, you know what's going to happen. The playoffs are going to, basketball's going to start. The playoffs are going to start, and we're going to be like, God damn it, we got to bet on LeBron again. Yeah,
I could see myself. I'll definitely have some.
Like if you're
LeBron
James,
at some point.
In the back of your head, you have to be thinking, "Holy shit! Like this legitimately could be the last run." And this weird season has given me a chance to be fully rested and ready to like go out.
I know, but I feel like that emotion can get in LeBron's head. He can be overly emotional. He's gonna be away from his wife and kids for the first part of this. Whereas Kawhi, he's a robot. He does not
That's true.
care. All right. He's a Terminator.
Kawhi bot. He's going to be at the, he's going to be like an animatronic in Disney World. It's going to be the Hall of the Presidents. There's just going to be Kawhi bot in the back there.
I can't wait to see the picture of Kawhi next to the wax Kawhi.
Yeah. It's like, which one is the statue?
Oh,
all right, man. Got a bunch of NBA playoff bets thrown out there. Of course, check out the Jim McMahon podcast. Check out the Don Beebe podcast. Super Bowl champs back to back. That was a lot of fun. And we got a big Sim Summer is underway. Thursday and Friday, we're doing Madden Mayhem in June. Just Madden Sims, early game and a late game. Same time as always, 8:00 East. For the early game, 10:00 East for the late game. That's Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, we continue our college football tournament. If you want to see where you're at with the bracket challenge, just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFT, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFT. And yeah, those games are Saturday and Sunday night, same time, 8:00 East for the early game, 10:00 East for the late game.
Sean, can I plug?
Sure, plug away, sir.
I mean, people should definitely subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Not only will they hear the Ryan to my right on the NBA Odds Pod.
That's right.
But Billy Bahate, he's doing double duty. He's got Das Bundesliga show. And the EPL's coming back. That's firing.
Yeah.
We've been having weekly fight shows for the UFC. What am I missing? Three Dog Thursday.
3 Dog Thursday, and of course the college experience. That's on its own separate feed.
And if you're really a junkie for more database, more Pick Dundee, I think we have a gimmick in the works where he may break down every single team.
Oh my God.
Micro podcast at a time. He might do 130 preview.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! That sounds exciting. Sounds like a lot of work. McKee, what can people check over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com? What's in the works? I know golf is back. The Charles Schwab Challenge. Our boy Steve Shermer, the golf expert, the guru of all gurus.
That's right. We have we'll have Steve's golf picks. We're gonna have DFS golf coming back. That's gonna be fun. We have a lot. We're already digging into fantasy football dynasty.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
picks.
6 fantasy football dark horses for dynasty rookie drafts. Yes, please. I'm clicking on that.
And I don't know if you saw what showed up in the old corporate Google Drive, but there's now a folder called Office of the Commissioner. So stay tuned. More fun stuff happening with. We're gonna have to be doing some sort of. Are you gonna get in the football dynasty league?
I'm in.
Okay,
I'm into it
because we've been debating.
I feel like I've been put on the spot right now. I didn't know that I was going to be invited, but my knee jerk is to say yes. Yeah. In addition to golf DFS, we have NASCAR DFS. Steve is putting his same psycho analytic breakdown into
this guy's
NASCAR
got me ready to watch NASCAR
fantasy picks right now. Every sport, Billy's going to be starting back up with his EPL picks. We've had Bundesliga's picks every week. So
there's a guy on the Twitch streams who loves hearing me say Bundesliga. I think it's a dude.
There's some weird ASMR thing going on there. And Ryan doesn't realize.
I'm playing into it.
Realize what he's causing on the other end. All right. Thank you as always for checking out.
For participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Make sure you stay subscribed, rate, review, share. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Congratulations to the 2017 completely fake Virginia Tech Hokies for winning a national championship in a completely fake video game.
Kramer, let it ride. Oh, that was fun.